Shalom. Let's start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Ophelet that's pushing this truth across four corners of the earth, all for truth and sincerity. This is Amawan Abad back again, sitting. I was going to about about these viruses that's going around, right? So I'm getting to it. It says Wisconsin confirms first West Nile virus, after of the year. And then you got an Ebola outbreak much larger than officials figures WHO says. It's an over 700 dead Ebola outbreak in Congo. See, El Paso, West Nile confirmed. Public urge to prevent bites. Let's see, what else is going on? You got the West Nile, got the Ebola situation, and the matter of fact, let's see. Do they have? Yeah, I'm gonna go to this. Let's go to more news. If everybody mostly should know about now, about the explosive diarrhea virus, right? Reached in Tampa, so this was a day ago. I think they said it's the explosive diarrhea. If I'm not mistaken, they said I think they say if you gotta stay away from certain vegetables and stuff like that, fruits. So I mean, shit. They got their vegetables and fruits got contaminated. So man, I said, hey man, we in those times, man. These pestilence and these diseases are coming about, here in America, Babylon the Great, in the world, and this wicked world, just that's ran by these so-called white people, red Edomite doubles, so don't be surprised if be more a major virus or something come about, but we in those times, man. It's gonna get more serious, more serious pestilence as well, there just ain't no cure, something's gonna come about to where, people just gonna be dying, left and right from it, because it just ain't no cure for it, it's like, it's gonna take effect, on a lot of people. I'm not saying I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be something that, it's gonna, a lot of people could die from it, but the elect, but only the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino natives, which are the Israelites. Hopefully, I'm probably right number. Only the elect of Israel is gonna be protected from these pestilence, diseases, virus, and whatever. And they're not gonna get the elect. Are not gonna get. It's not gonna harm the elect. It's not gonna affect the elect. Those that are of the elect, of Israelites, but 2/3 Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino natives, 2/3, they had to deal with their judgment, of that, whether it be by these pestilent diseases or whatever, right? But let me see. So I'm gonna get some scriptures back this up, cause I ain't wanna make this too long. So this 2 Ezra 16:37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack. So these plagues are not slack, man. It's coming upon this world, upon this wicked world. Like I said, this ran by these so-called white people, red Edomite doubles, and upon America, Babylon the Great. These plagues are coming down by the Lord Yahweh. Bashan Shah is bringing these plagues upon this world and upon this wicked world. And you see, what's going on. What I just pulled up with these viruses, right? With the explosive diarrhea, now you got the West Nile, you got the Ebola, and it could be something. Then it could be something major, another major pestilence. Well, like I say, ain't gonna be no cure, where people just, it's gonna be a lot of people just affected by it, dying from it, right? Really getting sick from it. But I'll go to the next verse. 2nd Ezra 16:38. As when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains could pass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slacken in a moment. So like when a woman having a child, about to give birth to a child, 9 months, right? Woman giving birth to that child, hey, you can't stop that baby from coming, right? It's coming. So these plagues are not slacking. They're gonna come about. They're gonna come upon this place, America, Babylon the Great, in this wicked world. Excuse me. In this wicked world that's ran by the so-called white people, Esau, Edomite doubles. And they, they not gonna slack. They not gonna slack up. They ain't gonna stop. It gotta happen. And the Lord Yahweh Shah is bringing it. So go to the next verse. 2nd Ezra 16:39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. So these, like I say, these plagues are not slacking to come upon this earth. This world, right? And the world gonna mourn. People gonna be mourning because of these pestilence, diseases, and so forth, right? The financial, downturn, and so forth, right? The plague of this heat, right? The heat plague that's going on. People getting dying from it over there in Europe, and that happened over there in Europe. Let's see, and so forth, right? It's just Lord Yahweh about to start bringing those plagues, right? People gonna be just plagued with these like I say, these different diseases, sicknesses, and so forth. It's gonna come upon the people here in America, Babylon the Great, world. In the world, it's gonna people gonna be dying from it, left and right, and a lot of people are just gonna be, shooken up, right? How bad it's gonna get, because we in those times, we in the in the midst of it, and it's only gonna get worse, right? And these players is not gonna slow down, man. And everyone gonna feel it, man, on every side. Everyone gonna feel these plagues, these pestilence, diseases, these viruses and so forth. Everyone's gonna feel it, man. We in those times now, like I said, we in the midst of it now. Everyone really, it's feeling, but it's gonna intensify to where ain't no denying, like there's a higher power at work here. It's like I said, you can't get credit, you can't get the credit to Satan. You can't get all credit to Satan. Because the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Yahshai, he, like I said, he sanctions, the go on, to bring about, bad times, bad a situation, that happens, something, happens in a town or city or something like that, so what it may be, right? So there's gonna be a lot of things that's things going on now, but it's gonna be more, it's gonna get real wild out here, going forward. It's not gonna, things gonna calm down. Nah, it's not gonna calm down. It's gonna keep on increasing, intensifying, man. I'm saying everyone gonna feel these plagues and the wrath and judgments of the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahshai. In these times that we're in right now, going forward, man. It's not gonna it's not gonna stop. It's gonna more things gonna keep happening. More people, it's gonna be, getting very ill, dying, or just a whole bunch of chaos gonna be happening in the world. People lose. People just losing it and going crazy and so forth, and so. But Second Ezra 16:40, excuse me, Second Ezra 16:40, and off of this one, all my people hear my word, make ye ready to that battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So hey, the elect, Lord Yahweh Yahweh Shai, that goes into about the elect, the elect, make ready, be in those times now, the goal for me first and foremost, hopefully I'm probably right, but the elect, if you believe Lord Yahweh Shai, if you have faith in Lord Yahweh Shai, then your faith is, your faith in mine as well got to be on a strong, higher vibration, to really get through these times going forward. Really, what I'm saying, and like I said, Yahweh Shai gonna be really the one really. It's gonna, keep you going, But the key thing is, and like I said, the apostle, the brethren, the apostles and the elders, brethren say, especially the apostle Rakah, always, push prayer, pray, constantly praying and fast to Lord Yahweh Shai, to strengthen your faith and not take your Holy Spirit away from you, and to keep. To stay in the spirit of Lord Yahweh Shai in these times, and just hope that Yahweh Shai have mercy, man. That goes for me first and foremost, just hopefully be part of righteous number, to Lord Yahweh Shai have mercy, and to escape those plagues and judgments, that Lord Yahweh Shai is bringing upon this world, upon this wicked world, that's ran by these so-called white people, red Edomite devils, so, like I say, be as a pilgrim, a pilgrim, what, be just being on the move, right? Just stay on the move, can't worry about, when things like really get real bad, just really be on the move, you can't really worry about going back to whatever situation may be, or, if you just gotta be on the move, gotta be on the move. Can't worry about this or that. Yeah, I leave it behind. So that's the times that we in going forward. So, that's the mindset. It can't. Whatever situation may be. Things really get. When things really start. Intensify, get real, chaotic out here in the world. Here in America, Babylon Great in the cities. Whatever you might be in a whatever part of the town or whatever it may be, and you can't get back to the house, whatever may be, right? Situation may be, you just gotta keep it moving. You can't look back, and just gotta trust Lord Yahweh Shai that He's gonna guide you, in the direction you need to go, and be safe and protected. And when those times really get, the times of Jacob's trouble and so forth, and things start to intensify. Here in America, Babylon Great, all out chaos and so forth is happening, and things just, is just completely out of control, and it's just, it's very, 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 very bad out here, here in America, Babylon Great, Babylon the Great in the world. So, so with that, hope it does edify, So again. Like of our praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash, to the apostle elders, to the sisters and brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters, do listen, keep the faith, and Yahushua keep fighting with that. Say Shalom.